Welcome to Between Seasons, a podcast for leaders in transition of what was and what is next. With me today is Dr. Rotimi, who is a visionary, author, entrepreneur, minister, as well a coach. Currently, he has 2 books out, Queen Esther, and as well the book that you can see in the background right here, Mastering High Stakes Transition. Dr. Rotimi, it is a pleasure to have you back on the show again.
Great to be here, Marvel. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Excited to have you back here.
Right.
Without further ado, a lot of people are waiting to hear back from you. Let's jump into the show. So you've walked people through some of the darkest professional moments of their lives. When you see someone turn the corner, what's the first practical shift you notice in how they carry themselves, how they talk, how they make decisions?
Well, I would say the realization, or the point of realization when people have that awareness that their identity is not their career. But there's a difference between who they are and what they do. So once you have that realization of your value is not equal to your title, that your value as a person, your identity is not equal to a role, and your future does not depend on events over which you do not have control. Like what we've mentioned before, change in organization due to maybe strategy changes or ownership changes or technology changes or market changes. So all those variables are meant to change. They are likely going to change. But who you are is who you are. So when people they get to that point where they have the realization that, oh yeah, this is me, and they see value in themselves outside what they do, that is the turning point.
Now, there is a stage where some people reach, right? You've helped them, like, let's say they've gone through the assessment and they realize, oh, wow, I have a lot to provide. The position that I was at was not everything I was. Actually, I was there because of what I was doing, because of the skill set that I was bringing to the table. Now, there's a specific kind of person who prepares endlessly but never pulls the trigger, right? You've helped them assess themselves, but now it's time for them to take the next step. But then they catch them, they get caught on like over preparing, going over the blueprint over. How do you help a person move from constantly planning but never taking action?
Well, the key thing is when you plan, what planning or evaluation, every of those steps, what they help you to do is to begin to see opportunities, to realize, okay, there are opportunities. Now, when people prepare, the way we help people to do that, one of the things that overwhelms people is the fact that when you see, like, you have to move from point A to point B, then you look at 10, 20, 25, 30 items that you need to take, or steps you need to take. But what we try to do is to break those steps into small pieces. And all you need to do to understand at the inception is the point B on the first step. So even though you have a broad view of all the steps, you don't need to think about all the 12. We try to configure in such a way that you can make sense of all the steps you have to take. So once you take ownership of those steps, all you need to concern yourself first is the first step. So if you are focused on a small piece of the whole juggernaut, it becomes easier for us to understand, okay, I have enough to deal with this, than a situation where you are looking at quite enormous things that you have to do, but not looking at, okay, you fall short. So every step you take successfully helps build confidence. It's the confidence that will help you the next step and the next steps. It's just like if you are going to school for a degree. If you would start thinking of what you'll be doing in the final year, you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you get overwhelmed. But the way you do schooling is that you face it semester by semester, course by course. So if you face it, if you want to look at a whole year, 2 years, or 3 years, you get overwhelmed. You look at, how much I'm going to pay. This how much. Let's say, for example, they say, okay, you will have like 500 hours of studying. I mean, that's overwhelming. But you can deal with 5 hours of studying or 2 hours of studying, assignment, and things like that. So breaking those steps into small chop of steps helps people to say, okay, I can do this. Then when they do that, I can do this one too. Then that confidence that people build over time help them to go through it instead of just facing the whole thing and becoming overwhelmed.
Now, I'm going to stress you just a little bit more, just because some person might be watching. That's great advice that you provided, but they might hear that and go back to their notebook and be like, oh, now I gotta rewrite everything. So if you can add more to what you just said, give us a practical framework. Right? When someone comes to you stuck at the threshold of an opportunity, what are the first 3 questions you ask them?
We would start with questions. The first thing you want to do is that you want to know more. You want them to know more about themselves.
I see.
So the first thing you want to do is that, number one, we try to have a general overview of what the pain point is, to have clarity about the problem. What really is the problem? Because sometimes let's say you are working in an environment and you noticed that the boss, you just become disgruntled because the boss is not giving you assignments, okay? And probably you are not aware that for the business, market is shrinking. Maybe there's a change in the competition landscape. Maybe business is coming down. There are things that are happening to the executives that I won't be able to tell you. So that time you may read that as to the boss does not like you, or maybe you're not doing well, but it's not about you. It's not about the boss. It's about the business or the market. So, but sometimes whatever is happening, the executive will not tell you. They just have to, when your manager is going to reach out to you, or the director is going to reach out to you, the manager, as they tell you what the board or the executive has them to tell you, they won't tell you everything. So in that case, you might think, oh, it's my problem. Or is this problem? Maybe he has this problem or that problem. But the first thing you want to understand is to come to a point of realization that this problem is not about me. Then to begin to see yourself in a positive light. So the first question you want to understand that those things that are asked to do, that are related to identity, to emotions. So I want to know why you're making this decision. Is it emotionally fueled? Are you making this decision because you're upset, you're anxious, or you are afraid? So I want to establish that. Once that is established and you want to know why, then when you understand why, is it because, okay, they change your role or they exit you or whatever happens, you want to know why. So you want to put that together. The goal is to get to a point where you establish the fact that you are not the problem. So when you get to that point, you say, okay, you are not the problem. The problem could be the market. The problem could be the competition. The problem could be the nature of the industry where you're working in. Maybe it's winding down or so you want to get to that point that you are not the problem. There's nothing wrong with you. So when you realize that and you firmly believe, I'm not the problem. The problem is almost 50% solved.
I see.
That helps you to look at yourself in a positive light. And what that does for you, it unleashes your ability to be creative. You know, your ability to be creative is what you need the most to solve problems. So when you understand that it's not me, that is different if you're exited because of wrongdoing or non-performance. Then you begin to look at it, okay, I don't have what it takes and things like that. So the first things you want to look at, okay, what are the issues? What are the pain points? Is it that you have been fired? Is it that you have been exited due to, redundancy? Is it that they gave you a role that does not match your experience? Is it that they reduce the span of your influence? Maybe you were supervising 20 people before and they gave you 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's looking, okay, does it mean that they don't trust me anymore? So there might be different reasons. You want to realize, okay, I'm not the problem. That helps you to begin to see yourself in a positive light. And that helps you to be able to solve whatever problem you need to solve and do other things you need to do with joy. If you need to learn, if you need to change some things, you're able to do it with enthusiasm and joy when you understand those basic things. Separating your identity from your title, your job, your role, and whatever.
I see. Now, positioning. So let's say that this person, you've helped this person now gain an understanding of what they bring to the table in terms of their value. They've now built the confidence, and you've also helped them walk to the next step of taking action, right? Because before they were stuck on like, oh, I need to plan more, I need to research more, I need to investigate more, I just need to go back to the drawing board, and they've been stuck in that position. And now you've helped them to overcome that. Now comes to the positioning of taking action. So what does it mean to position yourself correctly for a new opportunity? Practically, not just conceptually.
Know yourself.
You
need to understand what do you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because in most cases, after spending like 10, 20 years at a place,
mm-hmm.
the value you have or you can create at that point
mm-hmm.
is quite different from the value you can create
mm-hmm.
when you start. In most cases, you start a job as functional, an accountant, an engineer. But when you have spent like 10, 20 years, you supervise other people, you take responsibility. When you start, you are responsible for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, 10 years, 15 years down the line, you are responsible for what other people do.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you have to mentor people, you have to lead people, you have to supervise people, sometimes you have to be responsible for their failure.
Mm.
So in that case, you deliver through other people a certain level of your career.
Mm.
You deliver through other people. So there are two different things. So you need to understand, okay, what value do I really have? What can I take into the market that probably you never had opportunity to do when you are working functionally? But it takes time, to eliminate the emotions, to be able to see clear-eyed, to know exactly what is the value, what is the makeup of my value at this time.
Mm.
And that is the key thing. So when you get to that, it takes you to a place where you can do a proper opportunity mapping.
Mm.
That tells you that you know where to go looking for opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you know your value, then you can map with possible opportunities. That's a key thing. Because sometimes the real problem people have is looking for opportunities in wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
Who try to do things probably because that is what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you understand yourself, you break how to put it? You break that belief that you have to do what your colleagues are doing. We joined the system the same year, but you have passed through different journey. But it takes time when you slow down and really do the work of evaluation. Mm-hmm. That is where you know where to go to look for opportunities, whether to do business yourself, whether to work somewhere else, whether to volunteer, whether you need more certification or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that is what gives you that opportunity.
I see. So basically knowing yourself, it's kind of like when the Bible says having those who don't have a vision basically perish. But once you understand a vision, meaning you know what you're worth, you know what your value is, it gives you clarity of how you can position yourself, opportunities that you can take, risks that you can manage, and so forth. Now, sometimes you can have all those set in place and still deal with self-sabotage, right? So what system or habits do you put in place with clients to make sure early momentum compounds instead of collapse? Because you can have the person, you've helped them with everything that you mentioned, and it comes time to take that action, or they get that new opportunity, and then something comes in along the way, or they put something along the way that just crashes everything. So what are some habits or systems or habits that you you put in place for clients to make sure that momentum does not get destroyed?
Well, like anything that you want to do in life, the result for each person will be different.
Okay.
So depending on the kind of effort they want to put in.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things where you will be clear about right from the inception is what is required for you to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. So there will be clarity of what kind of demand that is from you. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you need to decide upfront that you are ready to get this done. You are ready to make this sacrifice, to invest time to do the needful to achieve what we want to do. And one of the things we try to do is to ensure that we try to ensure people have sufficient desire. And one of the ways we do that is to help you see your point B, number one, as something that is attainable, as something that will be of positive impact over your life. You want to see that is something you really want to do. You want to establish that you desire that point B so much. And that is why it's important that you know yourself. That desire for the point B will be the fuel or the driving force that takes you at those times. There's not a person, anytime you want to do anything good, there is going to be a time where there's going to be a pushback. And the pushback is, something we just want to test your resolve. To say, do you really mean this? Ask anyone that has done anything big and meaningful. They will have that time of pushback. They will have that time of testing of resolve. But key thing is, if I desire the point B so much, I can stand any resistance. I just know that whatever you are going through is temporary. However, it's not the same way that everyone would look at it. Then, because when you are going through coaching, because of the frequency you see, and that will help you to understand, this individual is having this kind of a problem, then you have the conversation. So there are step-by-step ways of addressing those issues, but you won't be able to anticipate until you see some issues, then you'll be able to go through them and trash them. So it's always going to be case-by-case basis. That when you see issues, that you need to deal with individuals on case-by-case basis. Right.
Now, one of the things you mentioned earlier, which is comparison, I think that's one of the strongest, biggest destroyers in human not history, but it destroys people's perceptions about themselves. It destroys happiness, a lot of marriages and stuff. So how do you help someone build a personal scoreboard, one that measures the right things and actually keeps them motivated, instead of looking at what's missing or looking at their peers and say, oh, well, look at that, and look at what's missing in mine?
And one of the biggest value of coaching or doing it with you method is accountability. Now, for example, every time you meet, you have an assignment. You know exactly what we're going to discuss the next meeting. So that is accountability. It would be embarrassing for you to pay for something and then you don't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the key point is that before you even start, all these things will be detailed. There will be a detailed communication of expectations on your part and on the part of the coach. So when you are that, for example, if you're going to meet every week or every 2 weeks, you have something or deliverables that you have to do before that time. If you do it step by step, there won't be a problem. You may not understand why you are doing what at the beginning, but if you consistently do what you needed to do, at the end of the road, definitely you will see that it does work.
I see. Now, what are the 2 or 3 non-negotiable disciplines you see in people who consistently convert opportunities into result, like versus those who keep getting close but never closing?
Number 1 is humility.
Humility. Oh, that's interesting.
So humility, that means that, everyone that has worked for 10, 15 years is smart. They know something. But the problem at this point is that when you are having transition, in most cases, it's because a lot of things you knew is not working at that moment. It's not that they are not working, but probably they are not working for that circumstance at the time. So the ability to unlearn and relearn, to drop everything you knew to learn new thing is number 1.
I see.
It's number 1. The number 2 thing is, there's something that Brian Tracy said. He put it into a way: get to it eveness and stick with it eveness. So if you can, use the same enthusiasm that make you get into something that really excites you, and you still have to have that same enthusiasm to stick with it. No, the ability to stick with the process to the end. That is very key. So when you are resilient, when you are constant in what you are doing, you do your assignment, you deliver what you needed to do, you have conversation, what you don't agree with, you debate it, not argue. So that ability to a willingness to learn is very critical. And when you're able to stick with what you are doing, those are 2 things that you need in order to get through.
I see. Now, that ability, the stick-to-itiveness, sorry if I'm saying that, is that something that people just innately come with? Is that something you can coach people on? Or is it just like a gift that is given from birth? Some people are more resilient that don't quit. Some people may not be as resilient, but the point is that when you break, and that's why the process is very critical, when you break the whole juggernaut into small pieces, it's easier for people to deal with when they are dealing with just a small portion of the whole thing. When people are not overwhelmed with the whole of the idea that you have to do everything now. And that is why it is very valuable to have somebody that is hand-holding you, somebody that is helping you to go through the process. That is why that is very critical. It's very important. So how do you help someone design a week that protects both their output and their energy so they're not burning out right when things are getting to work?
Oh, well, we have a system that works. So you just go through the process and there's always someone helping you along the way. If you don't understand anything or you have a challenge with anything or something doesn't make sense to you, you can ask questions and it will be explained to you. And in some instances, when you need help, you get help. That is what coach does. So, but a lot of the work is on you because you're smart. You bring it out yourself so that you can hone it. You have to own it because it's yours. So at the end of the day, when the job is done, you can celebrate. But all through the twists and turns, you are someone that is around that is helping you in the process, through the process.
I see. That's beautiful. So last episode, you touched on your process at a high level. Now that we've gone through a little bit deeper, what's the one part of your methodology that people are most surprised by? The thing that seems counterintuitive, but makes all the difference?
Well, the first thing is to, at the same time, you want to look at the 5 domains. Typically, you are likely want to look at the common domain, like, for example, skills, what you have learned over time. And it is always very directly you look at Networking is something that is tangible, you can see it. But the area that always surprise people the most, that where you have problem, is resource, idea, and energy. Particularly the energy. You know, the energy is the least thing you want to think of as a resource. But I tell you, your ability sometimes when you have something to do, to not sleep for more than 4 hours for like 1 week and still stay up. It's not everybody that can do that. It's not everybody that can take some risk and they see things that makes them to be afraid and their blood pressure is okay. So people are not the same, particularly if you are inching towards retirement, that you spent your good years working for someone else. And probably at that time you are older, probably dealing with some ailments that you really cannot hustle. So energy is key. And there are strategies to deal with those. But the fact that you are taking a look at those things at the first time, oh, I'm low on energy, I can't do this. Or sometimes that is all. The other thing that is very critical is idea. When you hold an idea very dear to you and you have never tested it in the market, and you just get to the market and the market isn't ready to pay for the idea. When market is not ready to pay for your idea, which happens all the time, and the idea that you think, oh, this is a perfect idea, once I get it to my people buys, I get it by nobody buying anything.
Surprised, yeah.
So those are the kind of thing that surprise. Another thing that surprises is resources. In terms of when you talk about resources, there's another one we have under that is the wrong way, which means that how much do you have in savings? So then if your plan is going to take like 18 months or 24 months, how long is what you have is able to sustain you for?
Oh, in terms of capital?
Not capital, that's just resources.
Resources in general, okay.
Yeah. So it's just something to take care of yourself and your family. Capital is what you use for business.
I see.
So how much do you have? Then how do you shorten or increase the length of your runway? So those are things that are probably people are not typically thinking about. Another thing that probably people don't think about is that when you're talking about network is naturally it's not your list or business cards or friends on Facebook or friends on LinkedIn or things like that. Because the value of network is a function of the temperature, meaning that it could be cold, it could be yellow, it could be red.
Oh, okay.
So the red are people that is when you call them, they just do whatever you want them to do for you.
I see. Yeah.
And the amber, they are the reluctant. The cold, they just won't pick your call.
Yeah, don't even
or they can't even remember you. So people you call friends, they can't even remember your face.
I see.
So when they see you. So looking at that through the color codes and temperature, help people to understand, okay, if I have a problem, who can I call? And do I really have somebody that I can call? And if I can call them, are they in a position to help? Another thing is mutual value flow. There are quite a lot of things in there that you call people, that people you are reaching out when you are expecting people, or value to flow from people to you, that you want to think, is there any value flowing from me to them? Do they have any justification to help? Do they have any reason to want to come to my aid? So those things, there's so many things that really like people are not really taking time to think about. We know them, but we've never taken time to think of them as detailed as you will see in this framework and the assessment.
I see. Last question that I have for you, in terms of, is if someone listening today is standing at the edge of an opportunity and they're scared to move, give them one concrete thing they can do in the next 24 hours to start stepping forward.
Know yourself. So the first is that you really want to do the evaluation to really define yourself as related to value creation. Market pays for value. And not because you are good looking, fluent or anything. Communication could be part of the mix. But market pays for value. So when you begin to look yourself through the lens of value creation, it changes the way you see yourself. The way you know the value you can create, which often is a function of the value you've created before. Now, when you come to a point, oh, I'm able to do this. Oh, I'm able to do this. Oh, I'm able to do this. Then you can map the opportunities in the market. Okay, opportunity will pay for this. Market opportunity will pay for this. Market opportunity will pay for it. So you know where to look to. You know where to look to for the kind of opportunity that you think you need. So going through the assessment to understand who you are is critical and is number one. Number two, having known who you are is trying to separate your identity from your circumstances. Your identity is not equal to your circumstances. So regardless of how bad your circumstance is. So when you you try to separate your identity from your circumstances, you see yourself separately as someone who creates value. I mentioned earlier on that if you have ever had a job, in the process of interview and selection and onboarding, you were never the only person. You won. You were better than some people. Then if they keep you for 5, 10 years, that means that for those 10 years, you're the best at what you do. So if you have that experience, otherwise they will have fired you. That means that you can create value. You have ability to create value. They kept you because of that. So if today things have changed and you have to move forward, you need to lean on those values that you have created before and define yourself based on those. It's not time for you to begin to mourn the rule, laws, or anything that has happened. It's time for you to be clear-eyed about, okay, this is the point when I'm at. What brought me here? Why am I here? Then where am I going to? And what is the pathway to the place where I'm going? And the good news is, when you work with a mentor or a coach, it shortens the time of your journey. It helps you with someone that will help you with accountability and other things that you needed to do that ought to ensure that you make steady progress. Because what we do is that we collect data about you from you. Process the data. Get your report. That report is you meeting you. And when you meet you, it helps you to understand you better vis-a-vis your circumstances. And you can raise your head high to know that you are better than the circumstances. And then look elsewhere where the value you are able to create could be paid for.
That's beautiful. One of my biggest takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, from this episode is, as he was finishing up here, is know yourself. I remember I read a while back, it was talking about times or gold rush. So this man was going around just buying different parts of land, and he came across this one piece of land, and this piece of land was this old looking beaten down home, and the person that was living there was selling the property. So when the man had gotten a tip that gold was somewhere on that land, so he wanted to buy it. So when he approached the homeowner, he's like, name whatever price you want, I'll give it to you. And the man was like, are you sure? So the person went and the homeowner went and spoke to his wife and said, what do you think? So they spoke, and then they came together with the number, and they brought it to the guy. And the guy said, are you sure that's the value of the home? That's the value that you want to sell? He's like, yeah. Sure. Didn't even think twice. Went to his car, came back. He's like, here you go. When the homeowner got the money, rushed to his wife. He's like, we got to get out of here before this person changes his mind. Not knowing the value of what he was selling. So when he left, when, celebrating, oh, what a sucker that person was. He took so much money from me. He didn't even know. Only weeks later, he's reading in the news only to discover the value of what he could have sold the land or the home for.
That's the point.
Right. So that's a powerful thing. Sometimes knowing yourself, as you said, allows you to separate yourself from the circumstance. Like, no, I'm greater than this. Yeah. They kept me at that position for that long because of the value.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah. They hired me because there were 50 other candidates that applied for this. They chose me specifically. So ladies and gentlemen, as you heard from Dr. Rotimi, is the value of knowing yourself outweighs the circumstance, outweighs the role, outweighs whatever title that you have. And he has the tools, as he mentioned, that helps you discover yourself. And once you discover yourself, it changes the ball game. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would highly recommend that you take an opportunity to go to Amazon and check out Mastering High Stakes Transition. He talks a lot about what he's talking about. And as well, visit the website and check out the tool, the assessment tool that will allow you to just discover yourself at a higher level that you didn't even know about yourself. Dr. Rotimi, it is a pleasure always talking to you.
Same here. And the website is highstakestransitions.com.
highstakestransitions.com. Make sure you visit the website, check it out, do the assessment. I promise you, it'll be the best decision you will make. And until then, we are excited that you took time to watch this episode, and we invite you to our next episode. Thank you so very much for your time. And Dr. Rotimi, once again, pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.